Alrighty, well, good morning and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Andrew Doffney. I'm the Instruction and Outreach Librarian at the New Jersey State Library. And it's my pleasure to present two speakers today. One is Lee Clark. She's our Business and Funding Information Librarian. She's just going to share with you briefly some resources and services that the State Library can offer you. And then we will move on to our presentation for today with Erika Pearson from the Small Business Administration. Erika came to the SBA with 30 years of lending background and a wealth of financial customer service experience. Before the SBA, Erika worked in the private sector as a wholesale mortgage account executive for many major lending institutions, and then for the IRS as a taxpayer advocate. So welcome, Erika. Thank you for agreeing to present today. Before we jump in, a few housekeeping items to go over. First and foremost, Erika will be addressing your questions throughout the program, so you can send them using the Q&A box you can find in the dashboard, or you can email me directly. My email address is on the screen there, and we can take care of those questions at the end of the program. Erika has made the presentation available, and that will be sent out in a follow-up email along with a link to the recording as well as a recap of the presentation. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be coming in the next couple of days. There will be a survey available at the end of the webinar as well as in the follow-up email. If you have a chance, we ask you please complete the survey. We always like hearing your feedback, and it really does help us move forward with our programming. And if you're looking for more information about what the SBA has to offer and their efforts specifically in New Jersey, you can visit the link on the slide there, and I will send that out in the chat momentarily so that everybody has a live link. One last thing before we jump into the presentation, just a brief tutorial of the Zoom dashboard, just in case you are not familiar with it. This is what your dashboard should look like if you're using a PC or a Mac. If you're using a mobile device, it's going to look a little bit different, but all the features will still be there. Here's the audio settings down here, so you can check them if you're having any audio issues. If you want to ask any questions, there is a Q&A button. You can just hit that button, type in your question, and that'll get sent to us, and we'll be happy to answer it for you. There is also a raise hand button. So at any point, if you're running into issues, you can hit the raise hand button. I will get in contact with you and hopefully be able to resolve anything going on there. Then, as I said, I will be sending out a link in the chat. So there's a chat button here. You can click on that, and then you'll be able to open that and find the link. So that is everything that I have for you. So Lee, if you want to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. And if I can, I'm going to actually share my screen just to show you two resources that we have at the State Library that if you're a small business owner or you're thinking about starting a small business or you're interested in small business resources that we have at the State Library. So let me try to share my screen. Okay, so you should be seeing our Jersey Clicks list of databases right now.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, great. So the first thing I wanted to show you was Jersey Clicks. Jersey Clicks is a suite of databases that is available to all New Jersey residents that have a library card either at your public library or through the State Library. And Jersey Clicks has several business-specific databases, including Business Source Elite, Reference Solutions, which is a business directory, business or the Regional Business News, which is news and articles that are of business related topics. And mainly I wanted to show you our Small Business Reference Center. So if you haven't checked that out, there's a bunch of resources for starting it and running a small business that can be found there, and it's free with a library card to anyone who lives or works in New Jersey, depending on how your public library gives library cards. The second resources that I wanted to show you was our research guides. So I'll put all these links in the chat after I'm finished talking, but we have a number of research guides at the State Library. The one that I wanted to show you specifically is our Small Business and Entrepreneurship Research Guide. So if you haven't checked this out before, I encourage you to look at this. A lot of resources are available here, linked through this research guide. And if you're interested specifically in loans and financing, we do have a page specific to that, which does link out to, I'm sure, some of the resources that Erika is going to talk about today through the SBA. So that's just briefly some resources that we have at the State Library. I'm going to stop sharing and I'll put those links into the chat.
Erica, you can take it away.
Awesome. Give me 1 second here. All right, you should see my presentation. And here we go. Thank you very much for having me.
We see your webcam, but not your screen.
Not my screen. Okay. So let me take that off. Share screen, right? Screen 1. You see it now? It shows it's being shared. Let's do this. How about now? We good now?
Great, looks good.
Woohoo! All righty then. I'm always challenged with these things. You use so many different programs when you do these webinars. So, okay. My name is Erika Pearson. I am with the Small Business Administration, and thank you, Lee and Andrew, for inviting me to speak with you today regarding our resources and services that can help you start and maintain and grow your business. Lee went over just very briefly the resources that are available at the state library, and looking through what was offered there, it's definitely worth your time to spend some time in there and poke around and see how that they can help you with some questions that you may have that perhaps maybe I may not address today. So definitely take advantage of those resources. Okay. We help America grow. We not only provide financial assistance to procure funding for various types of small businesses, we also offer management training programs. There is specialized outreach. There are groups out there that we support that specialize in business to women, minorities, and armed force veterans. We also have federal contract procurement assistance, which means if you're looking to contract with the government to sell your product, we have assistance for that, and we'll go over that in a little bit. International trade. Everybody says, well, gosh, I'm a small business. Why are you talking to me about international trade? Well, we'll go into further details of how and why that may apply to you. And then, of course, loans to victims of natural disasters. Now, we know that we've had the natural disaster of the pandemic, and it's been quite a roller coaster ride over the last year and a half. It's been now a year and a half, and the SBA offers disaster assistance kind of as an offshoot to the normal programs that we offer. We were put into a special position this year because the administration at the time had wanted to get the assistance out to small businesses, the PPP program, the Paycheck Protection Program, out to small businesses fast and furious so that we could keep everybody moving as we move through the pandemic and we kind of learn and see how things go. But the disaster assistance isn't just for the pandemic. It's also for if you have natural disasters such as hurricanes, it could be tornadoes, things that affect your business that you did not have control over. So that's kind of a side, I guess you could say, responsibility that we have at the SBA. But our main goals here and our main vision is to do regular SBA loans outside of the pandemic loans. So the first pillar of what the SBA offers is counseling and training. We have local resource partners that we partner with, and they offer free and low cost online classroom training. Actually, right now, I think everything's online because of the pandemic, but once we get back to normal, they will be doing classroom training in person. You can find a calendar for available classes on our New Jersey District website, which is listed here, and you'll receive a copy of this presentation. And there's also the SBA Learning Center, which is located on our website. We'll go into this in a few minutes, but you also get free consulting and training online. Okay, they're local resource partners. We have the 4 of them on the left. The small business development centers help you when you, not only when you start, but more when you're up and running and you need to get financing, and then there and beyond. We have SCORE, which is a group of volunteer business people who have extensive business experience in all walks of life. And they are great to contact when you need to put a business plan together, or, hey, I know I got this great idea. Is this going to work? And then the SCORE group can help you flesh out your ideas, do some market research, see if this is going to make sense for you to actually get into your business. There's the women business centers that also focus on business plans and marketing and things like that, and as well as the VBOC, or the Veterans Business Assistance Centers. So you're looking at business plan preparation, marketing, business setup, HR, accounting, any possible corner of your business that you would need assistance in, you could receive from any of these partners. Our Learning Center at the SBA is, of course, available to you 24/7. And all you need is access to the web, and you can have access to 64 classes that range from planning your business, which is business plan writing. And I usually suggest, if you go and meet with one of our partners, that you go into the Learning Center and go into the Plan Your Business area and look at the questions that are asked regarding putting together your business plan. And then you can put some thought into those questions so that when you do meet with your counselor or your, I can't think of the word, mentor, okay, they will ask you the questions. You'll actually be able to answer, and you can flourish your ideas from there. But we also go over legal requirements, financing options. There's launching your business, how do you get going, managing your business. So this is a live and moving document. Everybody thinks, well, we just help with the beginning of an opening of your loan. But in all honesty, as you're working through one of the mentors or one of the partners, you definitely want to pick somebody that you are comfortable with, because you're going to be sharing a lot of information with them, and you can utilize their services well into the structure of your business. We have a lot of people come back after their first year to retool their marketing and business plan. And also we got a lot of information, a lot of inquiries lately to, as everybody says, pivot because of the pandemic. So they were able to help a lot of people kind of retool their business to help form their goals. Most of the stuff was virtually, as we all know. And of course, growing your business as you go, you can go to the mentor protege programs and continue to work with your mentor and as you go through your business. All right, capital. Capital is another pillar here at the SBA. We provide loans to borrowers who cannot receive loans elsewhere. So if you have applied with your bank and you're not able to get a loan to them for several different reasons, we'll explain ahead as to what exactly falls into those categories. But you would come then to the SBA for a loan. However, the SBA does not directly lend to the business owners. The only time we lent directly to the business owner was during the PPP program, and that was a special program. Usually, you would go through your lender and you would discuss your scenario with them. And to find a lender in your area, you can utilize our lender match program, which is located in the SBA.gov website. And all you would do, it takes a few minutes to fill out the lender match form. You would describe your needs, answer a few questions about what you're looking for. You would get matched in 2 days with a lender that's interested in helping you with your scenario. And that may not just be a local lender, that could be a lender anywhere across the United States. Then you would talk to the different lenders that have reached out to you. You can compare rate, terms, fees, and more. And then you would apply for your loan with the lender that you choose. Okay, government contracting. We briefly touched on this earlier. The government sets apart 23% of all prime government contracts to small businesses. So of the $500 billion in contracts that the federal government does, that's, such as anybody that would provide paper clips up to tanks or things like that. They contract out to businesses within the United States to get those supplies into the government. Helps keep the country moving and also keeps the government moving. So let's say if you're a paper clip manufacturer and you want to send your paper clips, have the federal government buy them, you would then go through our contracting area. You do have free training on how to get started in contracting. And you can go to the SBA.gov and get references to our contracting area. It's a little bit different than what I do. We also have a resource guide for small businesses, and actually I will send a link to that to Andrew and get that out to you. That business guide tells you about the programs we offer. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there that you may want to refer to as well. So I'll make sure I get that out to Andrew and he can forward that out to you along with the presentation. Okay. So when you go to your lender, the question is, okay, what are lenders looking for? When you go into a lender, they can't just say, hey, I've got this idea and I need money for it and give me whatever you can give me. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Lenders evaluate your character, your capacity, collateral, capital, and conditions, and we will go over each of those individually. As far as character is concerned, we're looking at your business background, your education, what kind of experience do you have in the business that you're opening? So if your background is primarily in finance and you want to open a restaurant, you would need to explain how your experience would lend itself to a successful restaurant opening. You may not necessarily need to have the background yourself, but if you hire or have a partner with someone that has extensive background, you can also introduce them to the bank as well. And that'll kind of help solidify your experience in that line of work. It's also the impression that you make on the lender. Obviously, you want to have references to back up your experience. And the biggest thing that you'd have to bring to your lender is your business plan. Now, we talked about that briefly earlier when we talked about working with with the partners that partner with the SBA. A business plan gives the lender an idea as to what kind of business you're getting in, what kind of market you're going to go into, how you expect the cash flow to come in to repay your loan, the asset situation that you're in, if you have any collateral, the goal of the new business, that sort of thing, and how you project out into the future. And that sounds like it's daunting. It doesn't have to be like a 60-page dissertation, but it does need to address certain issues so that the lender can get an idea of what you're looking for. And again, you can go on the SBA.gov and there's an automated under our lender programs, also to the partners to get help with the business plan. They'll also take a look at your personal and business credit history. You may want to check out what your credit report looks like. A lot of people are doing that automatically these days. But if you're looking for a free report, you can go to annualcreditreport.com, and that will give you a copy of your credit report so you can take a look at what is on there, because sometimes things appear on there that we don't know. If you have something that comes up on your credit that isn't so stellar, bring that up front when you meet with your lender, because they're going to find it anyway. And if you're upfront with it from the beginning, they can tell you what you need to do to document what happened with that trade line, with that particular situation, and why you have a bad credit trade line on there. And then they can work with you to figure out how to make that work so that you can get a loan. But just remember, disclosure is everything, because they will find it in the research that they do when they research your loan. Okay. Capacity, cash flow. How can your business generate positive cash flow to pay the loan? That is the lender's primary concern, is that you can pay their loan back. So they want to look at the trend of your cash flow, how you'll be able to repay the loan. Will you show a profit? Which a lot of times in the beginning, especially if you're in the first couple of years of your business, you may not show a profit, but there may be other sources that you have to be able to repay the loan. Can your profit be sustained? So, are you just a seasonal business, or are you a year-round business? And how are you going to manage, let's say if you're seasonal, making payments in your downtime? That's just an example. And have you addressed the best and worst case scenarios so that the lender feels comfortable lending you the money? Collateral. Okay. Sometimes borrowers cannot go with a traditional loan with a lender because they don't have any collateral, or they don't have enough collateral. The collateral gives the lender assurance that if you default on your loan, that it will provide an alternative way for the bank to get paid back. The SBA actually guarantees the loans to the lender, and we'll explain that later. But that is a guarantee to the lender and not payments to you, from you. Okay, so loans are personally guaranteed. However, there are situations where the lender will require hard collateral. It could be in the form of tangible assets, property, equipment. So if you're looking for working capital or something to buy equipment, let's say you're going to open a bakery and you need an oven or whatever, they can lend you the money and take the equipment as collateral. Accounts receivable, less than 90 days, of course, and inventory. So those are some things that the lenders can take to help collateralize your loan and help you get the money to move forward. Capital. How much money do you personally have invested in your business? You got to have skin in the game. Okay. A lot of people try to finagle new businesses where they say, well, I don't have to have any money into this, and if it doesn't work, I'll just walk away from it. Well, unfortunately, the lender wants you to have some skin in the game so that you have some motivation to make sure that you can pay their loan back. Documentation of your investment is very important. So if you used, let's say, your savings account when you opened up your account, and you used your credit cards, you want to be able to verify what money you put into it, and that it is business related. True gifts and grants do count toward your equity injection into the deal, and an equity injection is your part of the let's say your 10% into the loan, or into your total business deal. That's what an equity injection is. So they'll take a look at what that is and how much you're in, and if they can work with you as to what you have in, or if you need more, that kind of thing. So we briefly mentioned grants in the prior slide. Grants are available, but they usually are provided by agencies or groups that have specific funding requirements to meet the goal of their organization. So the grants are usually intended to carry out the public purpose, or support or stimulation. So let's say a local town says, you know what, we need more businesses on Main Street. So we're going to provide $10,000 grants to companies that open up on Main Street in this town. So obviously, if you're opening up on Main Street in another town, you would not qualify for that grant. So it's very specific usually as to what grants are looking for. And if you are in business now, you've seen the grants that have come out in relation to the pandemic, and they are very specific. There'll be businesses with so many employees and had this much of a reduction in income and that kind of thing. So you've probably had some experience with grants. But if you are looking for grants, you can go to ones that are offered through the federal government at www.grants.gov. You can also go to the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, and they have a list of agencies that are offering grants at this time, and the agencies that you can actually check into to see if they have grants to meet your needs. Okay, conditions, the 5th C of credit. These are the 5 C's of credit we're going through in case I didn't mention that. Conditions, they want to know what the terms of your loan are going to be. Again, intended purpose of the loan, working capital to get the loan going. You're going to purchase equipment. How much are you looking for? What term are you looking for? How long? Standard working capital loan is 3 to 5 years. However, if you go with the SBA, we do have some programs that will stretch it out to 10 years. As far as taking furniture and fixtures and equipment and real estate as collateral, they value it differently. Let's say for furniture and fixtures, it's their useful life versus real estate, which is up to 25 years in value. So, and they also are looking for the local economic climate of the industry you're getting into. And there's different ways to research the economic climate as well. So definitely want to get a hold of your mentor and or one of the partners to work that out and get more information for you. Okay, I kind of threw out there a couple of times as to why an SBA loan is needed. If you apply with your lender, they're going to try to get you into the best rate, best program for your situation. However, you may not qualify for one reason. You're a good risk, you're a good loan, but you don't meet their box. Okay, so the lender will take a look at the viability of your business. Is there a reasonable expectation for repayment? Is there cash flow? And they have a credit box. You can imagine a box that all their guidelines fit into. And let's say there's 10 guidelines and you don't meet 1 or 2 of them, but they're not that bad of a problem that the lender can say, you know what, you would qualify for an SBA loan. Again, your loan would be viable, your cash flow and your repayment's okay, but you have something that's risky. So maybe you have insufficient collateral, you need non-standard repayment terms, industry concentration, maybe there's too many restaurants in the area that the bank has invested in and they can't invest in any more restaurants in the area. So they would come to the SBA and say, hey, look, this is a great loan, but we can't do it because it doesn't fit into our box. And then of course, startups. Not all lenders handle startups unless they're in business for so many years. Everybody's a little different. So you definitely want to check into what their limitations are. So what happens? Why is a lender then going to send you to the SBA? Well, actually what they're going to do is you're going to stay with the lender, and the lender says, okay, you qualify for an SBA loan, and the lender will obtain that loan from the SBA and they will fund it for you. So what happens is the SBA comes in and we reduce the lender's risk. So for instance, if you have a $100,000 loan and you default on the loan, and it's an SBA loan, we actually guarantee the bank 85% of that loan to be paid back to them should the loan default. So that helps mitigate their risk. It helps them feel better about making a more risky loan because maybe you have insufficient collateral. Keep in mind, a lot of people say, well, I heard SBA loans are expensive, there's fees involved and things like that. But if you did not have the guaranteed loan program from the SBA, it does make financing available to you where you would not otherwise have it. So you can utilize it as short-term financing, and once you get on your feet, you can refinance it into a regular bank loan, but it helps get you on your feet right away, which is a nice option to have. As we all know, it's difficult to start a new business or sometimes even to keep a business rolling at different times in your business career. Okay, qualifiers. You must be a for-profit business. You must be independently owned and operated. You must meet the small business size requirement, which most likely most of you that are attending the seminar today meet the small size requirement. And then the owner of the business must be a US citizen or a legal resident. Disqualifiers, excuse me. You cannot get an SBA loan to lend to other people. Maybe there's someone out there that can't even get an SBA loan. You can't get an SBA loan in your name and then relend it to someone else. Doesn't work that way. Nonprofits are not eligible. Real estate investment, as far as being a landlord and you're looking to expand your property ownership portfolio, because that income is considered passive, it doesn't qualify for SBA financing. Of course, any illegal activities, and of course, with the institution of marijuana becoming legal in New Jersey, it's still illegal at the federal level. So we can't fund projects and programs that are marijuana based. However, if it is hemp based, that is legal, and the SBA will finance hemp based businesses. And that goes from suppliers to the hemp based and even suppliers to the marijuana business. We still could not finance a provider to a marijuana business because it's considered illegal, but if they're involved in hemp, we can do it. Okay, if the owner had been on probation, has been on parole or pending criminal charges, that is a disqualifier. However, if you are done with your sentencing and your parole and probation, there is a form that you can fill out, and you would then qualify for SBA financing to help you get you back on your feet. And then, of course, if you've defaulted on federal government debt, that could be either another SBA loan, a school loan, things like that, it would disqualify you. Now, if you defaulted on a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan, that's a mortgage for your first mortgage on your home, they are not considered federal government debt. They're quasi-government agencies, so that would not fall into that position. But let's say you have a tax lien and you owe the government taxes, as long as you have a repayment plan set up and you're making the payments consistently, you'll be okay. But if it's been written off and you don't have a repayment plan in place, that would disqualify you for an SBA loan. Okay, so to recap, This is how SBA financing works. You apply directly with your lender. The lender decides you need to go with an SBA loan because of different credit guidelines. So the SBA guarantees a loan made to the lender, and then the lender says, okay, I have your funds ready, and they disperse directly to you. And then you would also make your payments and things like that direct to the lender. All right, loan programs. These are all non-pandemic programs. We're getting back to business as usual, which I'm really excited about. The crazy thing is now that I'm trying to switch modes from the paycheck protection and the economic injury disaster loans, the EIDL loans, I've actually had problems remembering the terms of our regular products. But this will help us all get familiar with our loan programs. Our standard flagship product is the 7A loan program. The loan amounts go up to $5 million, and it is a fixed rate loan. Interest rates are set at a maximum. Okay, so if you have less than a 7-year term, your maximum rate would be prime plus 2.25. Of course, there's competition out there. Excuse me, and the competition would help bring the rates down. That's just a maximum interest rate. You can't have anything higher than prime plus 2.25. And just a note on the side, which you really don't have to worry about, but the guarantees that the SBA offers to the lender, as an example, what I mentioned earlier, if the loan is less than $150,000, we'll actually guarantee 85% of that loan back to the lender. Use of proceeds. So you can use a 7A loan for working capital, to get inventory, lines of credit, to pay off credit cards that you use for business purposes only. So you can take your high rate credit cards, as long as you can prove that the transactions are business related. You can use the 7A loan program to refinance that down to a lower interest rate. I would highly suggest, if you are starting your business, to, even if it's not a quote business credit card, I would set aside a credit card that you have that you're using for the business and use it just for the business. That'll make it a lot easier to document, instead of having to back out all of your Walmart and your, well, it's my Walmart, but Walmart purchases and Wawa purchases and things like that. Because otherwise you'd have to go through all of your statements and back all that out. So it'd be a lot easier if you just had it on one credit card. You can use it for expansion and renovation if you need to expand. Let's say you're leasing a property and you need to convert it so that it works for your business. You can get loan money for that. If you're looking to purchase land or buildings for the business, has to be business related. You must occupy the property. There's certain percentages that you have to occupy in so many years. You can buy furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and you can refinance that for compelling reasons. And compelling reasons would be that, let's say your current debt has a demand note of a balloon payment, and you need to refinance that out because you can't pay it off. As long as you're lowering your current payment by 10% or more, you can use this loan to refinance your debt for certain reasons. Okay. Now, 7A loan program, required fees. There are fees that are required for the 7A loan program. This is how we make the world go around here at SBA. It helps fund the programs. It helps pay for the loans that do go into default, and they give you the opportunity to get a loan where you would not normally have gotten a loan. Now, with the institution of the Economic Aid Act, which was put into place in December of last year, we have a short window here, but all the fees are waived until September 30th. So you have another 45 days. At the end of September 30th, we set out a new program schedule and fee schedule as to what it'll cost to have a certain loan. So fees, you can amortize your fees in with your loan. You don't have to pay them separately, okay? And they're calculated on the guaranteed portion of the loan. So if you have a maturity of, let's say, greater than a year, and it's less than 150,000, the fee is 2%. Of course, they're waived until September, but it's 2%. Okay, and that was what it had been set to prior to the Economic Aid Act coming out. So this would be like September 30th, 2021. We come out with fees that'll be structured in this manner. Okay, so if you have a loan less than 150,000, you would be charged 2% of the guaranteed loan amount. You can finance that. So you can see what the fees are depending on your loan amount and the type of loans that you get. Prepayment. When you get a 7A loan, if your maturity is less than 15 years, there's no prepayment penalty. You generally use that for working capital, machinery, and equipment. However, if you have maturity of greater than 15 years, there is a prepayment penalty. So you want to make sure that at least for the first 3 years, you're going to keep the SBA loan. It's typically a loan that you would use to purchase real estate because there are larger dollar amounts. And you see the prepayment fees here. It's on a sliding scale. So if you prepay in year 1, it's 5%, 2, 3%, 3, 1%, and then year 4, there is no prepayment penalty. Okay, we have another product, the SBA Express. It is a line of credit with a 10-year term max. And this is designated lenders can offer the SBA Express to you. It's a faster and quicker approval. And it's a line of credit, so you can use it and pay it down, use it and pay it down for the term of the loan. The guarantee that we discussed before, the loan's up to 350,000, there's a 75% guarantee, which you don't have to really worry about. That's the bank's issue. But we did change the guarantee fees on these to help make them easier for the lender to do a more difficult loan during the pandemic. So you'll see that some of these fees may change at the end of September. Your maximum interest rate is prime plus 6.5 for loans less than 50,000. Greater than 50,000 is prime plus 4.5. And eligibility requirements is the same as a 7A loan, and you must meet business type eligibility. And that's all on our website. Now, our microloan program, we have 3 microlenders in the state of New Jersey, and they are a good outlet if you're looking for a very small loan, and very small would be defined as less than 50,000. There is no guarantee fee on these loans. They're short term, so it's 6 years or less, which makes sense because it's a small loan. Your maximum interest rate is negotiable with the lender, so it's usually based on repayment term and your credit profile. You can use it for working capital, supplies, improvements to your lease to the property that you're leasing, and but you cannot purchase any real estate with this. There is pre and post loan business training that's required for the lender to give you before and after the loan. The training really is to teach you and to show you, okay, this is how this loan is going to work. This is what we're going to expect. They're going to come out and do site visits just to make sure that you are up and running and that you are on task to meet your business plan, or maybe something needs to be refinanced into a lower payment because you're having difficulties for whatever reason. That's actually been very helpful, and a lot of the business owners that receive that counseling from the microlender program are very grateful for it, because they're usually just starting out, and it really gives you some experience and an outlet for a lender to help get you the loans that you need. You can find the lenders at sba.gov/microloans. Okay. There is another program called the 504 loan program. There are certain lenders that are available to do the 504 programs, and they are usually these loans are for small for-profit companies with a net worth less than $15 million. net profit of after tax of 5 million, less than 5 million. It provides long-term financing at a fixed rate for the acquisition or renovation of capital assets, including land, buildings, and equipment. The conventional first mortgage is typically 50% of the project cost. There's a CDC. You'll see it on the second thing here. It says CDC 40%. This is a Certified Development Corporation. So that's a company that will actually manage the 504 loan, getting the 504 loan for you. They will find the lender to do your first mortgage of 50% of your total loan. They'll come in and do a SBA guaranteed second mortgage of 40%. And then you would have 10% equity in the game here. So the maximum loan amount does go to 5 million. Loan structure would be 50-40-10. We kind of went over that. This actually results in a very aggressive interest rate. The guarantee on this is 0.5%, as 50%. I'm sorry, it's a 0.5%. Maximum rate is prime plus 6. Generally 25-year term. There is a prepayment penalty for the first half of the life of the loan. So you want to make sure that when you get into this, you're going to want to stay in it for a while. These loans are priced as the market goes, and they have been priced very aggressively, where they're actually been priced better than our standard flagship product. So you definitely want to take a look at our 504 programs if you have some bigger purchases that you want to make. We do have special purpose export loans. Now everybody says, okay, I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm a small business. Why would I be exporting? You could, export, sell your beer to somebody in Canada. You could be doing your services for somebody in South America. We do have loans to help you with your exporting business. To help you get working capital, there's an international trade loan and an export express loan, which is similar to the express loan on the non-export side. Loan amounts up to 5 million, term loans, line of credit, quick processing times. And here's a sample of the type of businesses that actually do exports. A roller coaster contractor, who would think of that? Herbs and spices wholesaler, food processor, fruit packer. You can see there's a lot of opportunity there for exporting, and we have the financing to help you with that. All right, a lot of people say, wow, that's a lot of information. My head is spinning. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Well, there have been many, many companies over the years that have started with SBA loans, and here are a few of them. I'm sure you recognize some of them. They are started with SBA and grew from there. So the sky's the limit. So start with your business plan, start with your mentor. If you're already in business and you need to grow, definitely take a look at your business plan and make sure you're there to grow up to the FedEx size if that's where you want to go. Okay, any questions? I've been monitoring the chat function and have not seen any questions. So I'm assuming that there aren't any at this point, but you're welcome to put them into the chat function as I finish up here. You can always reach me at erika.pearson@sba.gov. My office phone is listed there. I can help you with some basic questions, but you definitely want to work through your lender on the SBA information. Okay. If you have any questions after the fact, you can email Andrew, and he will get them to me, and we will get the answers out to you. All right, I am done with this presentation. Andrew, I didn't know if you wanted to wrap up.
We can give it a few more minutes just to see if anybody is typing anything in. So, how have you found the SBA loans and the process to be in the wake of the pandemic? Has there been a big uptick in people trying to secure SBA backed loans, or was everybody kind of focused on the PPP part?
Well, actually, a lot of borrowers and business owners were looking for standard SBA financing. I think what happened during the pandemic is because it was such a crazy time, a lot of lenders were focused so much on the PPP loans that they didn't have the capacity to handle regular SBA loans because there was just such a high volume of loans coming in. But actually, we did very well during the pandemic on our SBA Express loans and on the 504 product for the lenders that were still dealing with SBA loans. And we're actually doing very well with our numbers this past fiscal year. So surprisingly so, even though everybody was distracted by the PPP loans, that we still were giving out standard SBA loans, and the process hasn't changed. And what I'm finding is that a lot of the lenders now are winding down their PPP loans. We just put out a program that that the lenders can defer direct to the SBA, the forgiveness portion of those loans. So they're no longer wrapping up their resources in the PPP program, and they can get back to doing normal business. So I think you'll find that the availability of the banks and willingness of the banks to do these loans is definitely out there now.
How did New Jersey compare, I guess, with the national average or surrounding states in terms of activity and, utilizing the SBA resources during the past year or so?
Well, we've definitely kept pace with the rest of the country. We're usually one of the larger bid markets at the SBA here in the New Jersey, New York metropolitan area. And we still remain, I believe, in the top 5 offices as far as the district office that I'm out of, that generate the amount of business across the country. So we do quite a lot of business through New Jersey, which is awesome.
See any questions coming in, so I think we can go ahead and end it there. I'd just like to thank you, Erika, for coming and speaking to us today and providing some great information on what's available through the SBA. I'd also like to thank our attendees for joining us today. You are what make our programming worthwhile and keep us going. And the library is currently only open for state employees by appointment only. We are looking to open it to the general public in the coming weeks. So please, if you want to use any of our resources, you want to stop in, check our website for the most up-to-date information on our reopening plan. But you can always reach out to us at refdesk@njstatelib.org, or you can contact me directly. You'll be getting an email from me in the next couple days with some information. We'll be happy to help and answer your questions, or you can contact Erika directly. Her contact information is on the screen there. So I'd just like to end by saying be safe, be well, and hopefully we can see each other soon.
Thank you very much. Take care.